Alongside Barrett Brooks, I'm Amy Fiddle, and what are you predicting for Jalen Hurts this year, B?
He's going to go out and play better than he played last year. I expect right around about 4,000 passing yards.
Okay.
Over 26 touchdowns, but that's just wishful thinking. But that's what I'm thinking, though.
Okay. I
like
this.
that.
That's
high expectations, people. High expectations.
Serious optimism. I'm with it. All right, we're going to get to that and see what the official numbers are in just a moment from Jay Crouch. But now it's time for Barrett's three-point stance. First stance, B. You're not feeling the new word mark. You're not feeling this.
You know what?
Tell me about it.
I look at it, and I'm not good with change a lot of the time. To me, it almost looks too blah. I need a little more in that.
Okay.
A little more action. And I don't see enough action in it. You know what I'm saying? Eagles. It's just sitting there.
You like the curve better?
Yeah, I like that a little. I mean, it's like.
Yeah, all right.
And plus it has a little black in it. You know what I'm saying? It looks real good. A little silver in it. This is just Eagles.
All right.
Eagles. And another reason why I'm not good with change because I was the last guy to wear that Kelly green and gray, my rookie year. And I feel like I destroyed something when we stopped wearing it. It was like it was my fault. I mean, that was Randall Cunningham's last year.
Yeah.
It was a lot, of last that year.
Listen, everybody wants those uniforms back. They've been clamoring for a decade.
No question.
How excited are you that next year they will be coming back as the alternate?
Ooh, it's about damn time.
You're going to get yours back out? You're going to wear it around?
You know what? I still have mine.
I hope so.
I can't fit in it. I mean, it looks like a little kid wore that jersey. You know what I'm saying? My jersey's about this thin. I can't believe I put it over my big frame. This thin is so tight, I can't even breathe in it. In fact, I can put that on my arm and it could be restriction for my arm or something, man.
We can just pin it on you. Just pin it to your shirt. Rest assured, we will get that jersey on one way or the other. Your second stance tonight, the Eagles will have two players record double-digit sacks this season. I should note that hasn't happened since 2011. You're looking at Jason Babin and Trent Cole.
I remember that year. Babin went
year.
Nuts. I think it had 18 sacks.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a great year. But I do see this Eagles team getting back into it. And this is the guy I think is going to do one side of it with, Sweat being a guy that people aren't really looking at. They aren't really worried about what he can do. But he's going to be opposite of that man right there, Hassan Reddick. Mm-hmm. And because of that, I see some great things coming from this defense. Gannon is the key. Gannon can go out there with these multiple fronts, and that's what you need. It really helps you as far as offensive, not knowing how to get a bead on what you're doing. When you have different fronts up there, you can line guys up in different places. If you have Hassan Reddick on the outside, you run a 50 front. Then you look at it, you have the center with Big Davis sitting over the center, Fletcher Cox over here, Hargrave over here. Pick your poison. Where are you going to slide the line? When you run a 50 front, it really automatically locks that offensive line in on man, the five bigs. So you have to block man on man with those guys. That's going to open up everything else. So you can send a chipper one way and a tight end one way, but I like my chances with Sweat up against a running back or a tight end, or maybe Hassan Reddick up against a running back or a tight end, and having them rush. I mean, there'll be guys out there that can generate pressure. If you put in a guy like Brandon Graham at the three technique, then you have Hargraves on one side and put Fletcher Cox on that nose. You can generate all time of pressure because you can't slide the line where you want to slide it. Yeah. And I think that's what Gannon has been trying to do. Those multiple fronts give him almost the audacity to do what he wants to do for that offensive line. So you don't have to blitz as much. He's not a blitzing type of guy. But when you run a 50 front or a 30 front, it really makes you, as an offensive lineman, dictate the protection. And when you do that, you're going to leave a lot of guys one-on-one.
They're going to get home.
Oh, no question. No question. I mean, it's a lot of guys, they're trying to make it to that next level. Fletcher Cox, he's on a one-year deal. Hargraves is on a one-year deal. So they're going to be playing out of their mind, trying to make sure everybody's going to look up them and sign them at the end of the season. So they're interviewing for 31 other teams. Yep. So I see some big results from those guys being in multiple fronts and being able to go out there and rush the passes from different segments of that defensive line.
It's going to be a big adjustment from last year because last year, Eagles second to last in the league in sacks last season. So how high will this team climb in that department?
Well, I mean, it was ridiculous last year. Anything's improved for last year. I mean, if you look at it, Hargrave had 7.5 sacks. Then you had, Sweat had 7.5 sacks. After that, Fletcher Cox, 3.5. Come on, man. Yeah. We know he's a better player than that. I know that these guys can rush the passer better than that. I mean, after that, there was really nobody there. And plus, BG wasn't there.
Right.
I see BG getting up to upwards of about 7 sacks.
Okay.
So they're going to compete in the league this year just from them being so versatile in the fronts they can put up and the athleticism those guys have. BG will not. I mean, it's going to be a race to the quarterback. They're competitive. BG's going to be talking a lot to Fletcher. Fletcher going to be talking back to him. You know what I'm saying? Here comes Hassan Reddick playing in front of his home crowd. All those things equal this defense being really, really good up front.
And there's going to be a lot of versatility, as you mentioned, too. All right, your final stance. Minkah Fitzpatrick would have made a great Eagle. Steelers safety just inked a record contract extension to stay in Pittsburgh. But back in 2019, when the Steelers acquired him from the Dolphins, the Eagles were reportedly in the running there.
No, they were in the running, and they should have got him. We're talking about a guy that's so versatile. You can put him anywhere. You can line him up at the nickel position, and he can play like he's a corner. You can put him back deep. He can run from sideline to sideline. You put him in the box. He can play linebacker. Minkah Fitzpatrick, I can remember when he came out and he just left Alabama. First-round pick, Dolphins. I thought he was the best safety in the draft. They should have picked him up then. I was screaming picking him up back then. But the fact that we didn't, we had a second chance and we didn't do it, sometimes you just go out there and make things happen. And that's exactly what he does. I mean, he'll line him up anywhere. He's versatile. He has smarts, He's always around the ball.
Yes.
He's intensely, but I know he's with that other Pennsylvania team,
yep, the other
that
side of
Steelers
the
team.
The other side of the state.
You just happen to be wearing.
I know, it's just a coincidence. It's yellow. I like to bring the sun on rainy days. That's all I'm doing. It's interesting. They also pursued Jalen Ramsey that same year. How different would things be if they had gotten maybe him?
Well, then we would have been talking about this team not being in the Super Bowl. In fact, they might have played their second Super Bowl if they got any one of those guys, because we didn't have a starting real cornerback that you would say was a profile type of cornerback. You know what I'm saying? We went through a lot of different guys there. Probably the best being Ronald Darby. He was probably the best we had.
Yeah.
So, when you have a guy like Jalen Ramsey, you don't worry about one half of the field. You can put him out there and just put him out there with any number one receiver, and he'll be okay. That's the type of, player he is. He's instinctual. So, that guy just puts things in a whole different atmosphere as far as how good this defense could have been back then with Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, those guys rushing the pass.
Yeah, there's some difference makers out there. But they got who they got, and we'll see how they're going to do this year with it. It's a much improved defense, certainly on that front. We are diving into storylines coming up on the other side. Jay Croucher from PointsBet has some over-unders for Jalen Hurts this 2022 season. Find out what the odds makers think of the Birds QB when we return. This is Birds Huddle, powered by PointsBet. Time now for storylines powered by PointsBet. New customers can get their first bets risk-free up to $2,000. PointsBet, your home for live in-game betting. Download the app today. Enter the code Philly to get in on the action. All right, we are back here on Birds Huddle. Amy Fiddle alongside Barrett Brooks. And right now, let's get some insight on those storylines from our pal Jay Croucher joining us from PointsBet. And Jay, first, congratulations. Great to have you back following the birth of your third daughter. I know you guys are excited, so I got to set the over-under on hours of sleep you and your wife Sophia are getting at 4. Take an under?
Take the under.
Yeah, I thought
Take the
so.
under. Sharp money on the under there.
Yes, exactly. But probably more like 2 if I had to guess. It's always good to see you. Thanks for coming on and thanks for joining us. I know you guys have a lot going on, but we always appreciate you being here. I asked today for some storylines and some lines on Jalen Hurts for the 2022 season. You guys delivered at PointsBet. Your over-under for touchdown passes, 23.5. How'd you come up with that number for Hurts?
Yeah, so just looking at improvement from a young quarterback who's got some new weapons to play with, mainly A.J. Brown. He had 16 last year, which was maybe a little bit less than expected given how much he played. So expecting that Hurts will see more touchdowns, expecting the Eagles to be a better team than they were last year as well. That's the main thing. And so expecting there'll be more touchdowns to go around. And Jalen Hurts, with his natural progression too, he is a guy who, I think from a statistical perspective, going to see some real improvement.
All right, well, in that same vein, how about Hurts passing yards? Total set 3,450 and a half, so almost 3,500. Take us through that one as well.
Yeah, so he was at 31.44 last season. So again, expecting just to rise a little bit. He did miss a couple of games last year, but would expect him to throw the ball a little bit more, particularly with A.J. Brown Obviously, the Eagles were really run heavy in the second half of the season. With A.J. Brown there, with Hurts having another year as a starter, I think that they will throw the ball a little bit more. And not just saying this because it is a Philadelphia audience, but I do think Jalen Hurts is maybe the most interesting player in the NFL this year, just because he's such a big swing piece where he could be a superstar and he could be just an average quarterback. And the difference between those two outcomes could be the difference from Philly being an 8-9 team or a team that realistically could win the NFC East. I think that's very much in play and could compete to get out of the NFC. We make them the 5th favorite in the conference right now. And it's all going to be about Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, he's such a wild card. You're so right on that point. And these numbers kind of reflect that because the team is going to be so much better. His weapons are so much better. So, Barrett, I want to ask you, what do you think about the 23.5 and that 34.50 number? Where do you think that Jalen might land?
I think I'm going with the over, Jay, on both of them. I mean, you look at a team that's going to be vastly improved. The second year under the same head coach, same offensive staff. So I really think that, Jay, that Hurts is going to take it to another level simply because he knows the offense a lot better than he did know it. And because of that, he's going to play a lot better. So when you have better weapons, it just gives you autonomy to go out there and play better. So A.J. Brown, it gives him a more forgiving target that he can throw to also. He doesn't have to have separation for you to throw the ball to him. He's one of those big wide receivers that he can just muscle guys out, go get the ball and attack it. We're talking about a guy that's 6'3", 230 pounds, 4'4", 40. So I see him, really making Hurts a better quarterback. And then, you add that he's the number one, and now you have our number one receiver from last year stepping up and becoming a better player also. Smitty's going to now take it to the next level because he's going to draw one-on-one as opposed to, A.J. Brown with the double coverage. So it's just going to make him a better player. Then Goddard taking it and running with it also. So he just has better weapons. I like the feel that he's going to have with these guys.
All right, Jay, we also wanted to take a look at the Coach of the Year odds. You mentioned you got the Eagles as the 5th favorite, so you would think that Nick Sirianni would be up there. He's actually tied for second best odds to win Coach of the Year.
Yeah, he's right up there, and I think he has a real path to winning Coach of the Year. Because if you look at the history of this award, it typically goes to a team that has a 3 to 4 win improvement, that is in double-digit wins, and then also the main thing is that you don't want to have an established superstar quarterback stealing credit from the coach for this award. And that's what's cost Matt LaFleur from winning the past few years, is that people can't decide if it's Aaron Rodgers or it's Matt LaFleur, and it's probably both of them. But obviously Aaron Rodgers with his MVPs took a lot of credit from LaFleur. I think that if the Eagles, if they are a 12 or a 13 win team, which I don't think is outside the realm of possibility, then I think Sirianni is going to get a lot of that credit just because Jalen Hurts, he's not a superstar right now. And he might become one through the season, but I think a lot of the credit will go to Sirianni, and that's why he's so high up on the odds board for this award.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, it's a really good point because you don't want, you can't split it. It's almost like splitting the votes. If you have a really good coach and a really good quarterback, they think, oh, well, especially as he mentioned with Matt LaFleur, you've got the defending MVP right there. It's like, oh, well, it's probably just your quarterback there. Jay, thanks so much. We really appreciate you stopping by. Get some sleep. Enjoy your new baby girl and family of 5.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it, guys.